Okay, number 3, back on the trail. So a bit of reorganizing, as I said before. I referred, I think, to another John Ford Star Trek comparison Western, and I had a look. There's one called Wagon Master. I thought it was called Wagon Train, but it's called Wagon Master 1950. Look that up on here on Wikipedia. You might find interesting. I think this bit here where it says the birth of a community through a sweeping vision. Seldom has the Western landscape seemed such a tangible emblem of hope and freedom. I think that you could say that about the space frontier. And also the idea of, with Star Trek particularly, community predominates over portrayals of individuals. And even though Kirk bigs himself up, it is about the whole group of people, and the whole group of people in Star Trek are from all sorts of different backgrounds. Okay, so we got to about here. As I said, you're not talking about the American Revolution. Let's talk about, I'm not sure what this is. You need to look at that more closely. Let's talk about Avatar and Dances with Wolves. Okay, so first of all, titles in italics, please. Capitals for wolves. It's not really based on a pure paraplegic marine. Let's have a more formal summary. The plot revolves around something like that. Becomes torn. You mean who becomes torn between following his orders and protecting the world he feels is his home? I don't think. Maybe he comes to feel is his home. Your tense is a bit unusual there. Adventure Western. Western with a capital W. Why don't you just say is a give the date, starring and produced by Kevin Costner or something like that. L.T. John Dunbar, comma, the protagonist, comma. I don't know what you mean by accidentally leads, but that might need a bit of explanation. Again, this summary, just a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Precise. Let's just say carry very different, very similar narrative movements. I think he's just the protagonist. There aren't any other protagonists, so I'd leave out main. Well, we've already said Pandora. Do we need to say it again? And is planet Earth capital P, or do we just call it Earth? Is it a lush environment? If it is, you're describing it's Pandora, comma, untamed, comma, lush environment. That phrase doesn't really, I mean, when we arrive with Jake Sully, there are people there before, aren't they? So I don't think you need to say that. You could just say they're an indigenous population called the Na'vi. This theme, I would just say in Dances with Wolves, I wouldn't capitalize that, and I would put it in italics, in Dances with Wolves. Dunbar, because we've already referred to him. Leaves American civilization. I don't know why that's capitalized, but it doesn't need to be. Okay, so here the audience are presented with a Native American tribe connected to the landscape and under threat from colonial forces or colonizing forces, something like that. Now, I think I want to make it specific to the property rather than a theme. Crucial to the plot of both of these films is that the protagonist has to prove himself. Earns acceptance into these indigenous tribes. Yeah, I like this comparison between the wolves and the. Don't they have a name? The alien-like flying creatures. They're not alien-like. They're alien. And I wouldn't link wolves to man and horse, because he's got a horse in Dances with Wolves, hasn't he? So both protagonists have discovered these undiscovered wildernesses and come to realize that their native people are very isolated and disconnected with their natural surroundings. Surely that isn't the case. That the whole thing about the Na'vi is that they're completely bound up. When she sort of says goodbye to the soul of the whatever that creature is that's been killed, doesn't that mean she's completely connected to her natural surroundings? So in fact, you're saying the thing that contradicts what we're talking about here. So you want to be a bit careful with that, I'd say. Now, here, when you're introducing someone's writing, you would say something like, Emilise Marubio, in her essay, blah, 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 whatever it's called. I don't know. I couldn't find the one that you were talking about, but maybe it is Decolonizing the Western, a revisionist analysis of Avatar with a twist. You need to say, let's just see how much longer we've got. Oh, another couple of minutes. So you need to say, in her blah, 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 Decolonizing the Western, Emilise Marubio contends that, or says that, or points out, claims that the neo-Western twists in Avatar are a deliberate update or reboot of the Western formula, which means she. Come on, Marcus. Let's just have a look at Emilise Marubio. How much research do we need to do? You're being tested on your research here. She I think to say an updated Western rather than we know it's a sci-fi. What she's talking about is it's that there's it's something that builds on the legacy. I don't think